we have a few people here, a few people drag in. That's fine. That's typically the way. So yeah, Jesse and I are going to take you through a lesson today. Largely, like I said, that'll be pre-recorded. We're going to do a little intro off the front, and then at the end, we'll do some question and answers. In other words, like if there's something in the chat that you put in during the presentation, we can maybe address it on the screen live. So just starting off, Sorcery, we're talking about enhancing your digital presence today. Sorcery is kind of an interesting animal, and I don't know if you've kind of seen it this way, but and the screen's updating for everyone, eh? The slide progressed. Jesse, on your end, did you see it? He looks frozen. Sarah, did you see it progress? I just want to make sure as I go, things are working okay. Yeah, nice. Thank you, Sympathy. So we're kind of unique because we have this mixture of like social architecture on one side, which makes it really playful. Thanks, Roy. It makes it really playful for people to share information in a very familiar way, very social architecture. This is kind of our sweet formula is we're half social architecture, which is very like create, curate, share, follow, allowing you as manufacturers or agents to essentially put a list of products together however you want on any topic, and then share that with your specifiers in a lot of different ways, right? That's if you think about it, that's what things like YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Pinterest lets you do. Like you can create a collection of products and then share it email, social media, directly in the platform. And on the other end of that deal, because platform architecture like Sorcery is very transactional, the individual can take possession of that object and put it into their project. And on the project side, it's very cloud coordination, which is like roles, and you add members to things, and you provide comments, and you edit. So this kind of mixture of social architecture, cloud coordination has not been done before, really in any product, and that's what makes us unique. We are getting traction, across North America, even something in Europe. We're getting a lot of users. We're onboarding a few major top lighting design firms as well as top manufacturers. Our go-to-market, and I'll be transparent, this year is really like that A-list strategy. So we're getting like 30 of the top manufacturers on, 30 or more of the top specifiers all over North America on the platform as well. And that will naturally just kind of lift everybody up, raise the water and create a level of awareness throughout the industry. And there's kind of this interesting transition that I think we're going through right now that we really need to talk about more, which is this. In the past, we used to have these like physical in-person interactions with each other. So trade shows, showroom tour, in-firm libraries that we had, as well as in-firm presentations. And then we had these like direct human reactions that we'd have where you'd phone up for like a price, or you'd phone or email for a product that you'd like, and you'd go for dinner with people, right? We still do all that in those three circles, but what's happening is that all those items in those other two circles, so physical and human, the non-digital portions of that ecosystem, need to have digital counterparts. I think Jesse was having mic problems, so he left. But they need to have physical counterparts or digital counterparts. So the physical interactions that we have need to have something digital attached to it, right? And Sorcery, we'll talk about that. It's very good at that, as well as those human, even a relationship building, I think can fall outside of the digital space, right? Like going up for dinner and drinks. You don't have to have a Sorcery collection for that. but I think for like showroom tours, events, CEUs, like educational presentations, client meetings, you need to have some sort of digital piece that people can then take possession of and bring it into their own space, right? Just like if you left them a catalog. And they call it phygital, I guess, is kind of a term, but this is happening now. And it's just, it's inevitable. And Sorcery took tried to take the bargain of, okay, let's if we're going to go phygital, let's look at the platforms out there that have billions of users using it, and let's look at how they do it, and let's stand on the shoulders of those giants. So snap and save is really, so we have a lot of features like snapping and saving products into your collections from showroom floors or show floors, or from in-person demos, right? So if a Sorcery user can like save a product by taking a picture of one on a boardroom table, or we can also get into QR code. If you scan this one, it just goes to our website. but we also have QR code capabilities. So you can actually create a product QR code that will allow someone to scan it and save it to their Sorcery account. So I'm going to go ahead here. I'm going to stop sharing for a second, and I'm going to start. You can hear Jesse starting to talk, and we're going to move into the demo here. And again, we did a pre-record because I think it's a little more user-friendly for you guys. So I'm going to start playing this now. Jesse, even though he's not here, he's here in person. Oh, there we are.
Sorcery platform.
Thanks, Mike. Takes a village. All right, I'll shut up.
Sorcery website.
Choose everyone.
Sorcery.com. We've got the login button up at the top here. You can click that. That will take you to a login page where you can enter your email and password. Log in. That's going to take you to the start page, the landing page in your workspace in Sorcery. Now, if it's your first sign in, it's going to take you to the My Account page. I'm accessing the My Account here from the profile icon dropdown. But first-time users signing in will be taken to this My Account page to complete a few other fields here in the personal information, besides the name that you've used to sign in with. You can include company name, role, location, job title, and an image or photo to personalize. Then you update, and that's all set. You'll be in your workspace. If you're an individual user signing up for the first time, Sorcery will create a workspace for you using the name that you signed up with. If you've been invited by other users, the workspaces that you are invited to by those other users will also appear in this drop-down menu. The current workspace is the one with the check. You can switch between workspaces from this list. You can also use the gear icon here to change the name and add a description, add a logo for the workspace. The logo for the workspace is used in the projects area of the platform for your project schedules. If you want your logo to appear, this is where you load it in. Once that's set up, if you're the one setting up the workspace for yourself, for your organization, this is where you make those changes. You won't be able to make the changes if you're not the one setting it up. Next thing to do in a workspace, if you're setting that up, is to go to the admin console, where you can manage the people that you give access to this workspace. So for an organization, you're going to want to start inviting members to this workspace. That's just by entering some email, assigning a role to that user, with creator admin being the top role, in that you can, the creator admin has access to all the controls such as this admin console, as well as being able to create and access any projects or collections in the workspace. Creator is similar. He has full access to all the projects and collections in the workspace, but does not have access to this admin console. Editor role is a step lower than creator. Editors cannot create projects or collections. And then viewers are the lowest access, essentially just viewing projects and or collections in the workspace. In this instance, This is a new workspace with no members. I switch here to a workspace that is started already, in progress. You can see I land here on the project side of the workspace with a list of projects visible. And in that admin console, I can now see a list of members and a list of guests in the workspace. The difference between guests and members have full access to all the items in the workspace, whereas guests are specifically invited users to either a collection or to a project. So the workspace environment is made up of the project side, as we're seeing here, and also the product side, which is under the collections and libraries area. Collections is what we'll be focusing on for the bulk of this presentation, so we'll continue with that. Continuing with the Sorcery tour, we're looking at building up the collections in a workspace. This workspace already contains a number of workspace collections and followed collections. I can create a new collection from this blue plus button. Add a new collection, give it a name, save, and that's going to create a new collection that I can start adding products to. Adding products, again, we can follow products from these followed collections into our workspace collections and from one collection to another collection. Or we can create product records, again, from this blue plus button out here in the collections area, or jumping into a collection itself. Again, blue plus button gives you the create product. The product records are database entries. We've got 52 fields of data that you can enter, so you can be as specific or generic in your creation of these product records as you wish. We just have 5 fields that are mandatory, marked by these red asterisks, that need to be filled in order to save a product record into the collection. From there, we have drop-down menus for some of the fields where you can select one or more tags from the list. We have attachment fields where you can load images from your computer or copying and pasting from web browsers. Website links or just copy and paste a URL. And there are fields that are just plain text fields as well. So all of these fields can be populated again as much or as little as you require. We can take a look at one that's populated now with data, all the descriptive items. The verified manufacturers that are published in the community area are going to contain more fields of data than just the mandatory 5 fields. So that way you can, since you know you are following products from the manufacturer, from the truest source of information. There's more data there for you to use when you're bringing these products into the project side of Sourcery. Inside the collection here, you can see we've got at the top a little bit of info about the collection itself. That can all be edited with this edit icon to change the name, add an author, add a location, a description, add a logo image for the collection. Or if you don't add an image for the collection, it creates a collage of the first 3 items in that collection. As well, we can add reference photos as needed to tie in with the theme of the products in the collection. And we'll get into some of the sharing features from a collection in a later part of the session.
Just gonna pause there to and just add something. With the digital, with manufacturers and agents, as part of our enterprise packages, we do offer data input and data entry. So especially for manufacturers, we've now shifted to putting all that data in for them. So it's really important to understand how to share them. But some of that data entry, which sounds pretty monotonous, we're constantly doing, right? So we're, as we speak, we have a team, inputting data all the time with Sorcery. So the idea is when you come on as an agent or a manufacturer, you're not actually doing the data entry, you're more building collections from existing records and doing things like that. So we're just carry on. Second half is going to be a little bit more about sharing that I'm going to take you through. But again, I'm going to run it from the video just to make sure everything all stays synchronized. So enjoy. All right, everyone. Thanks a lot, Jesse, for taking us through the account information and as well as taking us through how to add products. I know some of this can seem pretty tedious. It's kind of an entirely new way of working and sharing information, but it's very much it's very much the way of the future. It's very much creating content and sharing content all in a singular platform. It's exactly the same. It mirrors the creators that you're watching on YouTube, right? It mirrors that same process. Create content, curate content, distribute content both inside the platform by getting notifications when new content's up. If you can imagine being in YouTube as an example and seeing notifications of new products or seeing someone suggest a new video, see someone suggest a new video to you inside the platform, but also seeing a new video on a social platform like on a LinkedIn or whatever. So it's kind of new, but it's new to a lot of people because it's very different. But I assure you, it's definitely the way the world is moving for sure. I guess the size of just say Spotify and YouTube and iTunes, which are variations of this architecture, or we're a variation of it. We're standing on the shoulders of giants. You can see obviously that this type of content sharing architecture is here to stay because it's massive, right? It even very much feels like same as Pinterest or same as like creating collections of products now. Amazon's now letting you create curated collections of products and share it with your friends. So it's becoming the way, which is great, I think, because it's a more efficient way. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how we share these collections. Jesse wonderfully went through how these collections are used or how they're created, which was great. Sharing them, I think we're going to focus a lot on today on sharing these collections outside the platform because all your clients probably are not going to initially be Sorcery users. And the beautiful thing is about Sorcery is that there are dozens of features designed around sharing that where it does not matter if they're a member or not. We're still a method of taking a bunch of lighting fixtures putting them in a container that's curated for a project type, for an app, for a project, for an application, for whatever, and then sharing it. Here's one we did the other day as a cool container. It was like a great outdoors urban mixtape. Osvaldo, who's a designer with Multi-Banani, a great good friend of mine, and I asked him, he's kind of so eclectic in his products choices. I said, do a like an urban mixtape of like everything, that you use. And it's true mixtape. It's got bullets, it's got kind of classic light standards. It's got some interesting stuff in it, right? Which is cool. So it's just a collection. And what we can do with collections like this, right? We'll go right into it. One of the most important features that Sorcery has is these anonymous quick links. Quick links are accessed down here, and you can deliver this content to a really broad audience because you don't have to be logged in. So if you copy this quick link, what's beautiful, I'm just going to open up a new browser, is that you can paste those into a browser, and it'll load this collection up, and it will do it in a way that you don't have to be logged in. So it's almost like Sorcery has made a custom web page for you to send your clients to view all the products that relate to the subject matter. It's really cool. There are other ways of sharing those quick links. You can copy and paste them into emails. Don't mind my calendar. I'm just going to take you in my inbox live on the internet. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing from a confidentiality standpoint. But if you say, hey, check out this collection of products for your project. Let's get really creative here. Paste that in. It's actually going to produce should produce actually a preview of that link. And I can say something like, I'm going to go back and recreate that link and copy it in. Oh, there we go, copy link. And I am going to go back to that email that I was creating, which is lost, but that's okay. Oh, here it is. Here it is. New email. Sorry, guys. Check this out. I'm going to paste that link again. I lost the previous one. That's how it goes sometimes. What's cool about that is it actually creates a preview of it in your inbox, right? So it said here, okay, it's a collection from Sorcery. It looks at the metadata and grabs images and kind of dresses it up. So you can actually get really cool and erase that link. This link stays, and you can say, hey, check out, these cool projects. Projects like your high mixtape, the do not need to make sense. I'm such a bad speller, and I love it. I'm just gonna put it out there for the world to see now. When you get old, you stop caring about things like that. So this is kind of a cool thing. So it's like, okay, here, check out the products, which is, and like what I think is this interaction, digital interaction you're having with your specifier is so much richer than sending a bunch of PDFs, right? Because now they could have this picture of the collection you made in their email. They click on that, it takes them to the collection, and even if they're not a Sorcery member and they don't have any intention of becoming a member, they now have this kind of bookmark of all the products in one spot. It's like a much more enhanced way of sharing products. Obviously, is your web link, your specification sheet link, your web link. If they're a member, they can add that to a project directly from the email. How cool is that, right? I think that's the kind of workflows we're trying to create. That one had a locked source library, so it won't let me put it in there. So it won't let me put it into that collection. And that is because it is locked to a source library. So I'm going to try another one. So source libraries are kind of interesting because it allows people to lock products or lock projects from receiving certain types of products, but more on that another day. So I'm done. It's a very cool way. So great. Email is, like email is still a great tool we're going to use, but I think that user flow is a much better flow for people to interact with products. So moving away from that for a second, let's also take that collection. I think that's a really cool one, and I'll copy that link and I'll throw it into a LinkedIn post. Right, so I'm posting this to my Sorcery group, so it's not going to go live. Hey. This is a mixtape of products. Yeah. Don't judge my taste. I love the products. I'm just saying that because it's an eclectic mix. And what it does is it creates same thing as your email. It'll load a preview up for you of that collection, right? You can delete that link to make your post cleaner, but this is more getting into how to use LinkedIn, so I'm not gonna, I'll stop there. And then boom, you got a post as an interaction. I can click on that post, which is very cool. And then I can go to a product and like, oh, I love this product. Thank you, Paul, for sharing it. Oh, this is look at this wall sconce, cool. I'm gonna add it to my project. Sample project, add. That's it. That one has a source library, which we'll get into. I'll put it on this one. That source library warning, I didn't intend for that to come up, but it's kind of it's actually a cool feature, which means that for specifiers that are really sacred about the tools that they offer or that the tools that they use, you can see it here. So it's added it to my lighting schedule straight from a LinkedIn post, right? Like how cool, that's, to me, that's really cool. And that's like to argue, to think about how we're moving forward as a lighting community, and we start comparing the user experience we have in our professional lives with our commercial, or our personal lives with how we experience software in our commercial world. You can imagine the concept of like finding something on LinkedIn, clicking on that, and being able to put it somewhere, like save it or buy it, is very, very commonplace, right? You see a link to a product in a website, you click it, or you see a link to a product on a social media site, you click it, you buy it, it's at your door. Sorcery is not getting into the transactional nature of it, like the purchasing of it, but you should be able to click it, view it, and add it to a project in one flow, right? It shouldn't be like, click it, go to a website, download a cut sheet, save it to your hard drive, open up Excel, copy and paste all the product information in. It just can't, it shouldn't be like that. And we have to start moving in a direction where it moves away from that. Another cool thing you can do with these collection quick links, social media I've shown you, email I've shown you, is, I'm just gonna do something here, see if I can do this live. Is moving into QR codes for a second. I just went to like a QR code generating application, really simple. And I'm gonna create a QR code. Oh, it's gonna make me log in. There's another one here that doesn't make me log in. I believe this is the one. So I can take that quick link and also paste that into a QR code generator and get a QR code, right? It says with logo, you can add your logo. Don't add your logo. I hate when people add their logos because it makes the QR code less scannable. So I just turned that quick link into a QR code. Now, like, your head should explode. What's cool about that is you can start making collections for demo kits and allow people to scan a demo kit to follow all the products in it, right? Live. We use this QR code a lot for trade shows. So making QR codes of people's booths, making QR codes of products. You can also do that. I'm going to close this window here, go back to that cool collection. I'm going to go to one of these products. You can also do that with a product link. There's a quick link for a product too. So you can actually do that, go back to this QR code generating thing, and you can scan that if you want to, everyone, and see if you want to. Maybe I'll give you a second if you want to scan that and test it. If you already have, get my mouse out of the way. 1,000. Get your phone out. Get the camera on. Hit the button. Scan it. Does the link come up? It didn't work. Maybe I'll give you another second. Okay, by now you should have it. By now you should have it. So I'll go out. I'm going to paste in that product link, direct product link. Same thing, right? I get a QR code for that product link. If you have your scanner out now or your phone, maybe you should be able to scan this one faster. But if you scan that, it will take you directly to this product. And I can then follow that product into one of my own collections if I want to directly, or if I'm logged in, a full-blown Sorcery member, I can add that to a. I'm just going to add it to a collection, just one that's kind of a demo for us. And I can add it to a collection. So again, that could be that you have QR codes per product that you can just scan and save, which is crazy cool. And again, if you're not a member and you're not logged in like I am right now, I assure you that the experience they get is still good. Like you're really still able to go in and share that product, or go in and save that product and sign up quickly, or as mentioned, as I'll show you in a second, actually, you can also get get an email sent to you. I'm just going to go back to LinkedIn here, open this one up. I'll just show you something else quick, and then we'll move on to sharing, and we'll get on with your afternoon. Members rather, and we'll get on with your afternoon. So if I view this collection also, so I'm a non-member. Oopsie, I have to log out. Excuse me here, I'm just gonna log out. Pain in the butt. Okay, so now I'm logged out. Now if I go here, it knows I'm logged out. So this would kind of replicate what happens in your demo, say. So obviously someone doesn't want to sign in now. Some people do, depends on the generation. Some people are like, oh, sign up, and they go in and they'll put their password in and they'll put an email in. It's pretty quick, the sign up process. We've made it super fast on mobile. But if that's not it, they can click send me a link and follow it later, and I can type my email in here, hit send, and it'll send me an email. Basically, I made a mistake on my email address there, so it didn't work, but it'll send you an email to your inbox of these products, which is cool too. And then that email contains the information to sign up and follow it. So it's like they're at the demo, they scan the QR code, they click that, they're like, what is this? I don't want to sign up. Put in their email address, they'll get a link, and then they can worry about signing up and saving it later. And over time, the idea is that your clients will start to develop quite a list and quite a database of your products in their Sorcery workspace. And again, it really just talks. If you think about that, what does that mean for you, right? If you're now the person who has offered your specifiers, your clients, a space on the internet for you to save all the product information that you send them for free, you're going to come out ahead, right? Because when they're looking for that product the next time, they're gonna be like, and I've been in this seat for over 20 years, 18 years doing specifically architectural lighting design. Like the worst thing is, oh, I need that downlight. Who showed that downlight? Who came in and showed me that thing? You're asking around, remember so-and-so was in a month ago, there was a downlight and had like this optic, that like dropped below and lit the wall all the way up, and you're just like, right? So the idea is in Sorcery that you can search demo. If it's a demo collection, you can go in and search wall wash, right? You can go in and search your database and find that pretty quickly. Yeah, so moving on to members. So talk about quick links to death. If we go to share for a second, which is another button up here, you can see that there's a few different options here. This is community published right now. If I drop this down, you can see there's different options, but let's start at the beginning because I'm not very good at that. At the very top, similar to quick links, you have a link to the collection. The only difference with this link is that it's an inter-platform link, right? So share link for Sorcery members only. So if your client's a member, right, and is using it, you can copy this link and share it with them outside the platform, and it'll take them into the platform to this collection. It won't take them to the quick link, which is nice. The second thing you have is visibility. This is a share mode, you could call it, but it's largely visibility. So you have a private published. So I'm unpublished this from the community. I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. Private published just means that if someone has the link to this thing, they can find it and follow it and use it for their own use. That's kind of the default, but it's largely not discoverable on the platform. So you would have to have the link. Um, the other way is community publish. And you'll notice here, you're publishing this collection to the Sorcery community. Budget pricing will be hidden. That's really important. So once you take this public and make it publicly discoverable, we hide budget price. So the budget price can be in the collection, but we'll just hide it. And that's because we're not ready for that yet in this industry to share budget pricing that openly. I hope we get there. But I felt like if we allowed anyone to put budget pricing in the community that's publicly discoverable, my tires would get slashed, lighting people, right? And then the last one is lock to workspace. Lock to workspace is great. So I published it, so it's asking me to unpublish. Lock to workspace is cool because as specifiers, say you put we have a couple specifiers that put like collections of their details up on Sorcery, or collections specific to projects that might be confidential. So when it's locked to workspace, that means like if you shared this link, if someone got a hold of this link, right, a quick link, any link, there is no way they can see it. They have to be a member of that collection to see that information. So you will have to go down to the members area as an example and add them as a member to that collection before they would see it. By default, the members of the collection are the members of your workspace. But if I were to add a member here, I'll add Jesse. It's not coming up. He's already a member. That's probably why. I'll add P. Boken at, go. Hit enter. Hit enter after. Make sure you do that after you write an email address in. And I can make them either a viewer, which means if it's locked to workspace, that gives them viewing access, or I can make them an editor, right? And if I send that, I could say, hey, add some track, please. I can send them something to say, hey, add some track or add a certain product. And that person's going to get an email that says, I'm a member, or so-and-so has added you as a member. I have one earlier here. So you've been invited as a member. Please follow the link. That'll take you back to this platform. And you will become a guest in the workspace, which Jesse took you through earlier. And ta-da, you can now edit, add products to it, and contribute. So these are great. We make collaborative collections, Jesse and I, when we go to shows on the show floor, say, and we'll be with our phones building collections collaboratively. We had another lighting designer in the US that was doing that with 2 or 3 people on the floor, right? Making like best of collections and stuff for their coworkers, It's like you have 3 or 4 people at a show, but you have 20 coworkers. How do you share that information? Yeah, so that's membership, if that makes sense. So the last couple like inter-platform sharing modes that I think are important to cover are things like I guess we've talked a little bit about follow, right? So if you land on a collection on Sorcery, you can follow that into your workspace, which is great. But further to that, sometimes you can arrive at a collection in a couple ways. We've talked about it: social media post, email post, or an email that's sent to you, not a post. You run into a quick link on the street. Okay, I'm kidding. That's not going to happen. But maybe you scan a QR code, right? And that'll take you to a collection where you can follow it and save the product. Another way inter-platform is suggesting followers. So suggest follower button is cool because that's a way of like saying, hey, check out this collection on Sorcery, but not having to send an email, right? So I'm going to do pboken tests 5 at, I have so many test accounts. Hey, check this out. right? So check this out. This is cool. It is cool. TR. Trust me. Send. So that creates, and I'm going to get an email notification in a second. That creates two things. One, it creates an email notification that this collection is being suggested to me, which is great. I can click on that and then follow it. So it does create an email trace, which is cool. But also, I'm going to log in as that test 5. Is it in my magic list of quick? Nope. Test 5. Boom. Log in. So I'm going to log in now as my test 5. So this is the client you sent this collection to. They got their email, or they're just browsing the Sorcery community, let's say. And boom, they have the suggestion at the top, right? Which is cool. So what's cool about the suggestion is that going to come up in the, I've never tested this. If you search, will suggestions come up? I love how I'm just like assuming it does. Oh, it does. Okay, great. So what's great is that if you suggested it, it's going to start showing up in their search when they search for products, which is cool under collections here. But also, you know, it's kind of in their face when they go to the community as well, right? It's at the top of the community under suggestions. So it's a cool way for you as a manufacturer to really, or manufacturer agent, however, to really practice inter-platform sharing. It's largely designed though for agents because if I go back to the collection here, I'll go to this collection, I go to suggest, you notice you have to put an email in of someone you know, right? It's not like you can go in here, we actually don't have a feature on purpose to allow you to put a mailing list in for suggestions. We have no bulk kind of sharing features like that on purpose because we don't see this as a way for manufacturers necessarily to bulk blast to specifiers. We see this as like Jane, you know, an agent wants to talk to Joe and send a collection, and you put their email address in because you know who they are. You have a relationship with them. So Sorcery is about fostering those relationships and building those relationships between people, not about creating another channel for manufacturers to talk to specifiers direct. That is not what we are about. We feel like the curated community is about allowing people who are very close to the specifier to curate product. Of course, there's no issue with you say going to Delta Light as an example, taking a collection directly from Delta Light and suggesting your customer. So you don't have to have made the collection to suggest or grab a quick link, right? And include it in an email, and you're going to get that same kind of flow that you saw before. Just going to maximize here so you can't see my inbox. Microsoft, sometimes it doesn't grab that metadata. There we go. Same thing. Yeah. Now we have a collection that has been that's in an email that you can share. So those quick links work either way. Just going to go back to the platform here for a second. So that's kind of suggesting followers and then touching a bit on quick links again. The last thing we'll talk about is embedding collections in web pages. This is a members only thing. So in other words, you can't take this collection that is not yours and embed it into your website. We're thinking a little bit about that. Maybe we will in the future, but I'm going to go to one that I am a member of, and under the 3-dot menu, it's kind of a developer feature, I would say, like your web developer would do this. You can copy the embedment code. You can change the size of that window that's going to show up in your website, either in pixels or in percentage. You can choose, is it going to include the collection name, collection photos in the embedment, or is it just going to be the products? Of course, the products are the defaults. You can't turn that off. But you can also include, is it going to include these photos? Is it going to include the name? And I'll give you just an example here. Here, Visions Lighting, cool agent, really tech forward in the Toronto region. Here we go. So they have this on their website. So what they did is they say, we're featuring modular lighting instruments this week or this month, and here's a Sorcery collection they embedded right in their website. And these are great because as a Sorcery user, I can go in, I can follow these products into collections if I had a collection, or I could say modular lighting. I can make a new collection, save it, and do this directly on the website, which is very cool. Of course, I'm not a member of the Workspace. I'm not logged in because I logged out, so it's giving me that error. Again, that's I trust me, that's specific to me because I'm logged in and logged out a bunch of times with different users. So sometimes I get those verification errors. But what's interesting about that is it's like, again, it's like I'm a member of I'm a Sorcery user. I can click on something and save it directly. So it's very powerful. So that pretty much wraps up our demo today. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's quite, it's quite empowering, I think, once you get using this platform. Again, Sorcery as part of enterprise packages offers a ton of services to help you guys. So as far as inputting data input, we have a whole team that does that, and we also have the ability to, I think Jesse might have shown you in the earlier, is to actually do CSV inputs and things like that. That's something we allow. There are some backend features to allow CSV input of products that we can help you with. So there are lots of ways. I wouldn't let the onboarding of all the products you use be a barrier. We're also actively onboarding products and manufacturers all the time, so it'll get a lot easier. So you're not doing a lot of manual data entry. So don't be afraid to reach out to us to use some of those features. But yeah, that's all. Thanks, everyone. I was going to come in lip syncing, so you thought I was doing that the whole time and not recording it. If anyone had any questions, I'm just going to go back here at the beginning. Yeah, if anyone has any questions, you can put them in the chat, email me after. Mike.